Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council of Future Conflicts, episode 587. Today we're talking, well, we've got the Marine Corps birthday to talk about with my two favorite Marines. And then we're just going to do basically, we're going to, says Mossad Monday. No, that tells you about our paymasters. No, the show today will pretty much just be a show full of odds and ends because there's a lot going on in the world, but it's almost like there's not enough going on in the world. So we decided to kind of play a little catch up with some of the things that are going on and just kind of cover the world. Not enough kind of rose to the level of like digging in. And oh, by the way, I think none of us were fully in-depth prepared like maybe we normally are. So those are my excuses. Joe, what's your excuse?
My excuse is that I am a proud graduate of the University of Science, Music, and Culture. And when somebody asked me how I was going to celebrate the Marine Corps birthday, the first thing I said was 8-corner hat. So there we go. And of course, this one is my original in Woodland. Good stuff. It's been a good weekend. I'm wearing my 22nd MEU shirt just because it's that day of the year. And we're going to have fun. I had a good weekend. I spent most of it out in the woods hunting. Took some clients out hunting and had some fun. I wrote an article about that, so that's kind of cool. And I don't know. It's just been a good weekend. Although I will ask all of the praying folks among our chat to send one up for my sister. She had a heart attack yesterday and is not doing real well. So we could use some prayers. That would be awesome.
And Watcher, what about you? How are you doing today, brother?
Doing good. I am. Well, I have to admit a thing that gets everybody mad at me every time I say it, but I have never been to a Marine Corps ball. I'm not saying I'm never going to go, but all 4 years I was in, I ended up pulling duty. But I am celebrating my Marine Corps birthday in my favorite way this year, which is we have a widow who called and needs some service, and after I showed up and told her we'd do it and gave her a bid and told her we'd show up today to do it, I found out that her husband, her late husband, was a United States Marine. So we have redone her flagpole for her, and we'll be raising a brand new Marine Corps flag today, and then finishing up cleaning up her yard. And I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of my favorite way to spend the Marine Corps birthday.
Awesome. That's good. I honestly had no idea it was the Marine Corps birthday until you gentlemen told me. So, no disrespect.
Don't worry. Every
don't
year
care.
we'll never let you forget.
Oh, I'm sure. I just don't even remember last year when you probably told me about it. Knowing our luck last year, it probably wasn't on the Marine Corps' birthday, but All right, guys. I mean, a lot of stuff going on in the world.
Well, yeah, we should probably acknowledge the thumbnail before we move on.
Yeah. Actually, Joe, tell us what's the whole what is it, Edmund Burke or whatever?
Edmund Fitzgerald.
Edmund Fitzgerald. I'm sorry.
My God. So, first of all, I'm from Michigan. So, everyone in Michigan is required to know the tale and every word of the song. So, essentially, on the morning of November 9th, 1975, she departed from Wisconsin, Duluth, actually, and or Superior, Wisconsin. And she was full of iron ore. Got into a storm, which storms on Lake Superior are notoriously bad, and continued to make headway over the next 24 hours. But then they got hit by a massive wave off of Whitefish Point, which put too much strain on the boat. The keel busted and the ship went under. Was last seen at 7:50 or last heard from at 7:15 p.m. on November 10th. And she was just short of Whitefish Bay. They almost made it to safety, but 29 souls lost on board. At the time, it was one of the biggest maritime disasters in inland lake history. Still remains. And the song by Gordon Lightfoot became an instant hit. He didn't anticipate it being as big as it was, but interesting piece of trivia is that today there'll be a ceremony at the Whitefish Point Lighthouse, the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum, where they'll ring the bell 29 times for each member of the crew, and then they give a little bit of a pause and they ring the Edmund Fitzgerald ship's bell one more time for Gordon Lightfoot. Divers have dived down on the wreck and brought up the bell, so it now sits in the museum. And interestingly, my family has a tradition during the hunting trip we take every spring that everyone whose first time it is up there, we drive them over the wreck. And even though she sits in 530 feet of water on a sunny day, you can see her. So,
if I may add one chilling part to the tale, it's about that line that Lake Erie never gives up her dead. Not sure if anybody's aware of this, but part of the thing is the men down there are nearly perfectly preserved because Lake Erie is like this exact perfect mix of almost no oxygen down there as well as being incredibly cold all year round.
yeah, Superior is a uniquely cold lake. So it's about 33 degrees year round. So they're well preserved.
So is the only thing that connects this to the Marine Corps birthday is just the date?
Yep.
Just the date.
Oh, I'll be honest with you. I think I had heard that story before, but it's just not one that I've internalized. So when you start describing, I'm expecting there to be Marines on board or something, and then I was just like, oh, it's just the date.
No, just that this year is the 50th anniversary. So,
right on.
I wanted to mention it specifically because of it. If you've never heard the song, you should. It's a very chilling and haunting song, and it will stick with you.
Oh my goodness!
And I think one of the best lines in it is where it says that the searchers all say that she'd have made Whitefish Bay if she'd put 15 more miles behind her. And it's true, but 15 miles at sea is a long way.
That's a lot of water. Yeah.
How far from the coast was it when it sank?
She's about 5 or 6 miles offshore.
Oh, cool.
So actually relatively close in terms of Lake Superior, which is actually a sea, not really a lake.
Well, they all are, right? I mean, all of the Great Lakes are essentially inland seas, right? And are they connected, or is it kind of?
I think they are.
The lakes?
This is just one of those kind of like geography
by
kind
the
of
St. Mary's River. They're connected.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Let's.
You know what?
You get.
I have one more note to add to this, just a weird, interesting way, and that is that um, we might actually see a bit, hopefully less, not any accidents, but we might actually see a lot more traffic like boats like the Edmund Fitzgerald all across America. Apparently, that is part of the plan of the Trump administration's transportation team, is that they want to revitalize the waterways for merchant shipping, which have
Oh, the
been,
canals and stuff.
well, canals and riverways and all of it. Yeah, basically they want to make the Mississippi mighty once again. So I'm excited.
Yeah, my understanding is that there used to be a lot more traffic, and one of the reasons why because there was less traffic, there was less dredging, and then there became more kind of like silt issues,
Yep.
and it's just one of those kind of then less that caused less traffic, and it was just one of those kind of things where
Self-flicking ice cream cone issues.
right,
Yep.
yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
All
I mean,
right.
I think if there's a need for it, then I think we should do it. But
Always cheaper to ship by water. Always, always.
just like it's always cheaper on the rail versus the road.
Mm-hmm.
All right, gentlemen, let's dive in, shall we? Kind of a little off 90-degree off azimuth. Of course, I'm getting this. God damn it.
All the stories are going to be.
Hold on a second here. I gotta. This is the one I was having trouble opening. If you remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, come on. Sorry. Hold on a second. I'm gonna get it going here, and then I'll. Why is this so hard? All right, here we go. No Turkish boots on the ground. Israel's insistent on keeping Erdogan out of Gaza. I mean, this is pretty. I think this is pretty no-brainer type of thing. And then but the good news is one pro-Israeli story gets us that fat paycheck every Monday. So here it is. I happen to agree with it, though. Defense Minister Israel Katz and a government spokesperson reiterated on Sunday that Israel does not want Turkish soldiers deploying to Gaza as part of a multinational force which is meant to take over from the Israeli Defense Forces. There will be no Turkish boats on the ground. Prime Minister's office spokesperson Bedrosian told reporters in a response to a question. Israel already expressed skepticism regarding Turkey's desire to play a role in post-war Gaza. Relations between the two countries, formerly close allies, collapsed during the 2-year war as Turkish President Recep Erdogan praised Hamas terror group and accused Israel of committing genocide. Now, I know there are a lot of good men and women in the Turkish military that would be completely, NATO-esque in their performance and how they would treat the Israelis and then also view Hamas as terrorists. The problem is Erdogan wouldn't let those people anywhere close to this mission. He would have his people who specialize in working with ISIS and working with, HTS and all those types of folks. Those would be the people who would then end up working closely in close contact with Hamas. So yeah, these guys you can't trust them as far as you can throw Erdogan. Gentlemen.
Yeah, I would not let Erdogan be in charge of literally anything on the ground there. He wants to be the savior of the Islamic world. He wants to be the new caliph, and yeah, I wouldn't put him on the ground anywhere.
Yeah, Watcher, what do you think?
I think that many Turkish guard is lamenting the loss of a lot of bribery opportunities. I think that's I think that's mostly what's going on here. Yeah, I don't think that would be a neat idea. Although I don't really know who I do think would be well suited for the task, right? Other
You
than
know,
just to be like, hey, France, why don't you go do it? Mostly because
well,
you've been pissing
I was
everybody off.
I was gonna say I think if NATO or the EU or somebody like that were to take it up, I'd be okay with that. I don't want the U.S. ground troops anywhere, outside of maybe some
That's what I'm saying,
observers,
right?
like some uniformed observers, or maybe some special operations working close with the Israelis or something like that. Maybe.
Well, and there's some other people I can say for sure I don't want in there, right? Like I don't want the UK in there. I don't want Canada in there. Any of these countries that have done the whole like, oh, we're gonna
Well,
do recognition and all that
yeah,
bullshit. No, you shouldn't be involved.
the only way I would accept that is if they were as part of a NATO mission, because guess who's in charge of the NATO missions?
Well,
The U.S. is in charge of them. I mean, let's be honest. And that would be the only reason why I would accept that framework, right? Because ultimately there is a U.S. general pulling the strings, and if you've got a U.S. general, then that means you've got the Trump administration looking over the guy's shoulder. And then if he resigns all of a sudden to spend time with his family, then it was because.
Can we just acknowledge for a minute what an absolute fucking nightmare this is going to be for whoever is on the ground? Like, even if it's somebody they like, this is going to be bad.
The sad thing is I think the most easily agreeable group would probably be like the Gulf states.
I'm sure they're jumping right.
Yes and no. I don't want Qataris anywhere near there. So.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Jordan, those types.
They're a little preoccupied with Yemen.
I'm sure they are all just champing at the bit to get involved in this on the ground as well. I mean, Saudi's got an army of what? 20,000?
Yeah. The Gulf Cooperation Council it's got a good force, but they're heavily engaged in Yemen, so I don't know if they have the bandwidth to do two deployments at once. So.
Yeah, I mean, in the GCC, you get Qatar as part of that package. So I doubt Qatar wants to be anywhere fucking near this. To be quite honest,
you know what? I have a solution, gentlemen. I have a solution. This is going to be the best. They need to just hire out Gurkhas. Come on. Completely culturally neutral, entirely badass. India could use the money. Let's just hire Gurkhas.
I think they came from Nepal, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. But
are we just going to pass over the beautiful opportunity that the foreign minister's name is Gideon Saar?
I missed it. I was too busy focused on Israel's being Israel cats. That's just too perfect.
He's having cats. Let's see. The former senior minister who leads the opposition right-wing party wrote on X that arrest warrants for senior Israeli officials clearly explain why Turkey should not be present at the Gaza Strip. Yeah, well, I mean, that would be one good reason. That's a specific reason versus all the general ones. Ankara, however, is also a close ally of the United States. I don't know about close, but ally, yes, they are technically an ally of ours, and was a key mediator in last month's ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza. Donald Trump's plan to end the war calls for a temporary international stabilization force made up of international troops to eventually take over Gaza's security from the IDF. Turkey has sought to play a role. Last week, it convened a summit to discuss Gaza with 6 other Muslim countries, at which Turkish foreign minister said the Palestinians should be in charge of security in the territory. Our principle is that the Palestinians should govern the Palestinians and ensure their own security. They're incapable of governing themselves at this point. Now,
and here's the other point too, though. Everyone wants to talk about how racist the Europeans are, but no one holds a candle to folks in the Middle East. And if you told them like a Tajik or an Uzbek was going to be responsible for your security, they would spit at you and all that kind of stuff. And if you said Yemenis were going to be part of the deal, they hate each other in different tribes as much as they despise other outside races. So it's a very tough area to try and enforce peace in.
As I was reading that, I was thinking, so who could we get? I guess we could get, like, say, the Mexican military, because they're used to being shot at, and they would like a break from their ongoing war. So they would probably be chomping at the bit. And then maybe the Japanese and the Koreans, could, because the Koreans are used to standing on borders and just kind of like,
Well, they're both well known for their tolerance of other cultures.
I think they wouldn't tolerate any BS. Yeah, I think that's right. Ultimately, they don't want to get involved. Is kind of.
By the way, I'll be remiss if I didn't say thank you, Reverend Hazmat.
Oh, look at that.
For this, or I don't know what he goes by, Clippy in our chat or whatever it is. Thank you, Matt. Anyway.
Okay.
I just want to say
says,
the Pope
this might
is
be
open.
a winner.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I have a solution. We deport Tren de Aragua to Gaza. Well,
Beautiful.
they would just join Hamas. They would just join Hamas.
Yeah, they just join Hamas. I just want to say the Pope has opened his mouth an awful lot about this. Where are the papal guards? That'd be perfect. That'd be absolutely perfect.
As foretold by the prophet Tom Clancy, peace be upon him.
That's right. Hire us some Landsknecht and call it done.
My question is, the Vatican, the Roman Catholic Church is pretty rich. They could just pay for the mercenaries.
That's what I'm saying. Right? That's what I'm saying. Instead of blessing some block of ice like a pagan ritual, let's actually do something.
Jake Clark, that's an interesting point, but I'm not sure that there are Kenyans who have survived the mission in Haiti.
I'm kind of surprised the Kenyans didn't take over Haiti. Come on.
Not me, man. The Kenyans are
Let's be honest. The Kenyans have not even left the airport. So
right. So, the high-end claims of how much money the Catholic Church is around $3 trillion. So, I think they could afford some mercenaries.
Well corrected, Durna. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, Lance. I was gonna say I didn't want to go. Well, actually, Watcher, but I let Durna.
Did y'all see over the weekend Ferrari making the news?
Oh, with Putin, right?
Well, it made a comment with Putin that all of the problems in Central Africa are for the French and the Americans and the Brits. And I said that he needs to stick to designing uniforms, and that's about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't know if you can be completely blamed for Liberia.
I was thinking, what the hell are you saying? See what I did there?
I see what you did there. All right. Anyway, so no Turks in Gaza. I think we got that one checked on the checklist. Anything else you guys want to talk about with Gaza today before we move on?
No, I didn't even want to talk that much about Gaza.
All right, but come on, let's be honest, Joe. We really don't want to talk about hardly any of the places we ever talk about, but you got to kind of know what's going on in the world, right? Because if you don't know what's going on in the world, then
right.
And when the world shows up on your doorstep, you're like, now who are you again, and why am I killing you? Okay, here you go. Here's your 7.62 to the head. All right. Let's see. Let's move on to our next story here. Speaking of that region and regions we don't care about, honestly, but we're reporting on. Trump administration pressures Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah as envoys calls nation failed state. Well, the irony is that it's like there's this whole vacuum of anybody who really wants to get involved, whether it's in Syria, whether it's in Lebanon or Gaza. What's amazing, Joe, is how much the Israelis have gone. Let's just be honest. They've completely made their entire neighborhood around their country undesirable territory. It's like nobody. It's like, fuck this. I'm out. I ain't doing it. I don't want any fucking part of this. Because the let's be honest, the Israelis are like a fucking pissed off honey badger. Did you guys see the video of the honey badger attacking the elephant the other day that was going around on Twitter?
No.
It was really funny. It kept getting swatted by the elephant. It kept coming back after the elephant. It was really funny. Let me see if I can find it. It's worth let's see, honey badger elephant. I mean, part of me hopes this is I don't think it's AI, because I didn't see this version. I saw a different version. Watcher, if you just type honey badger elephant into the search bar on X, you'll find it.
Where in the world are honey badgers and elephants found in the same place?
I don't know.
Africa somewhere. Oh boy, yeah. Yeah, Africa for sure somewhere.
Go down. There's a zoom in on that one. So it's easier. Okay, so they zoom in on it. Okay, here we go. It's like, I'm getting out of here.
I guess they're in India too. So,
and it looks like an African elephant though. It's got the big ears. So the honey badger looks like it's down for the count, but that's just the honey badger kind of, like reconstituting itself. And the elephant's like, okay, I showed him. And the honey badger's still there.
Starting to stand up barely.
That's what I'm saying. It's like trying to work out all the kinks.
This is basically the Monty Python Black Knight, but in the animal kingdom.
I love it. Just comes right back, and so the elephant's like, "All right, I better stomp on it a bit and get rid of it." There it is. All right, is it dead? Oh, I'm gonna kick it again, and it comes back at me.
Now the elephant's like, "All right, I'm out." Honey badger's like, that didn't hurt. I'm all right.
Oh
shit!
Little known fact: the South African Rattel armored personnel carrier, named after the honey badger. Rattel is the Afrikaans for honey badger.
I like that.
Let's see. I saw another video. I mean,
worst Disney movie ever.
if that's not enough for you, there's this one. Here we go. This is what happens when we don't have a solid two topics. But let's be honest. Some of this might actually be more entertaining. Honey badger versus tiger. I don't know. This honey badger is clearly fucked up. It's drunk. It keeps falling over.
As long as just to tie it back to today, I've seen Marines in bar fights like this.
Well, but watch this. I mean, just keep watching.
That's what I mean. Like it's definitely not over yet. I know about honey badgers. There's almost nothing the tigers can actually do to it.
I love how it's like totally fucked up though. It's like, you know, like it's drunk.
Just kick your buddy's butt. You want to fight too?
He just knocks it over. This is such cat behavior though, like just playing with it.
So if I have my thing remembered correctly, their hide is so tough, the tiger can't actually, like, cannot bite through it, can't scratch through it. They can break its bones, but that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, they're trying to bite it. It's not working.
Yeah, like its hide is too tough for almost anything to get through it.
It's a 4'9" Filipino Marine after 5 shots.
You're hearing me exactly, or like the Hmong guy in the platoon.
Okay, let's get back on track now.
All right. Anyway, that's our visual description of Israel. You know, don't fuck with Israel. All right.
Do we want to just give a final statement? I don't think it will be successful to pressure Lebanon.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Honestly, I just think that this whole thing with Lebanon is not it's not going away. I don't think Lebanon will ever be able to do that. It's just one of those kind of permanently incapable countries.
Lebanon
now, let's be honest.
On the Lebanese.
Tell me about it. I mean, let's be honest. You know, the Christian Lebanese have been completely backstabbed by everybody. They're just basically like, fuck it, you know, I'm done. The half of the country is basically Hezbollah light. And now that Hezbollah has been defanged, essentially, I don't know. Maybe they're in like deep reconstitution mode. I'll be honest with you. I think that Hezbollah probably won't come back as Hezbollah. It may come back as some other kind of successor organization, but I don't see it being able to. It'll fracture.
Lebanon needs a new army, right? I pointed out before the show that Hezbollah pays a soldier $2,200 a month, and the Lebanese army pays $275 a month.
Yeah.
And the last person the Lebanese army beat was some shopkeeper in South Beirut. They've lost to literally everyone they've ever fought against, and they control literally nothing outside of Beirut. So they need a real army that can actually stand up to Islamic extremism within her borders. Lebanon itself is a secular state, unlike most other places, right?
Yeah.
I would like to see them be able to stand on their own 2 feet against extremism, but they can't at this point.
Watcher, just let you know. So you've got the Pete St. Ange story, and then after that, I reordered it. So we'll go right into Data Republic after this one, because if you think about it, this makes what he talks about in this goes into the NGO piece of her story. So,
all right, give me a second then. Let me flip some stuff. Is it just those two that changed?
Well, yeah, the St. Ange one is still in the right place, and then it's just the next one is Data Republic. Yeah.
All right.
Play this
now
video.
For my second favorite person to hear talk about economics when Jim's not available.
Yeah.
That reminds me. I was in the grocery store this weekend. I came out from hunting and I was ordered to go and get some medicine for somebody. And as I'm walking to the grocery store, I noticed that someone is like right over my shoulder. And y'all know how much I like strangers getting close to me. And I turn around. The person leans and goes, "You're always so fashion forward." And it turned out it was Jim and his wife sneaking up on me. And I said, "Dude, that's not wise." And he was like, "She said it wasn't a good idea." I'm like, "Yeah, don't come up on me in the store." But good conversation. Always good to see him. Good people.
Very good. Let's listen to what old Pete's got to say on the unemployment numbers.
layoffs soared 183% last month. That was triple the previous month. In fact, it was the worst October for layoffs in 22 years. Yes, worse than the 2008 financial crisis. Are we done with the whole jobs thing? The numbers come from outplacement firm Challenger Gray, who reports October layoffs came in at 153,000. That's nearly triple September's number, and it brings year-to-date layoffs to 1.1 million, which is up 65% from a year ago and the worst since COVID. And it's probably not a fluke. Last week, payroll processor ADP reported just 42,000 jobs were created after 2 months of falling jobs. So what's driving it? Mainstream media really wants it to be Trump, but there's a lot of good things happening under the hood. For starters, the biggest layoffs in October were government-funded contractors and tax-funded NGOs, cut off from taxpayer handouts, and now the government shutdown.
I'm going to pause to acknowledge something that just got said in the chat.
Shock.
Every single time. Every
Yes.
single
Very
time. Okay.
Hold on a second.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
Joe. Speaking of not a Rubicon, did you see his him posting about the mesh radios, the kind of like the mesh radio 2.0?
No, but they're a scam. I can tell you that.
It was interesting. There's some differences that make these a lot more usable over just the traditional off-the-shelf mesh networks.
Well, I will say, so apparently a lot of you in the chat haven't seen this. So some of you were saying companies in New York started asking for Social Security cards. If that's true, that's awesome. Other people are saying, oh, it's just people being deported. No, these layoffs are mostly related to AI, and they're largely in the tech fields from what I've seen. So, anyhow.
NGO layoffs alone are up 419% year on year. Together with contractors, they are almost half the layoff surge. The other big one is IT, where artificial intelligence is gobbling jobs faster than H-1Bs can steal them. Finally, media. I've done videos how mainstream media is in free fall, drowning in their swamp of lies. Hollywood's down by half since COVID. Left-wing newspapers and cable TV are down closer to 70%. In other words, aside from AI chowing down on IT.
Yeah, stop. I have to.
Talk about a victory lap worth taking right there.
Oh, one industry. If there's one industry that I am totally fine watching collapse into just absolute nothingdom, it's Hollywood. Just fuck them.
Hollywood and the media.
Yeah.
I thought it was his thing that AI is gobbling up jobs faster than H-1Bs can steal them was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that was mint.
Well, it's
Sorry,
I think what they're finding is that it's like if we get rid of the H-1Bs, we could just replace these guys with AI, and it's actually cheaper even than the H-1Bs. So it's like then we can look like we're good because we're getting rid of our H-1B employees, but then we can leverage the AI tools. It's like win-win.
I'll tell you the other half of this. The other half of this is people saying on the other side, on the investment side, starting to say that AI is a bubble. And specifically, they have been saying, well, if AI really is as powerful and is going to create as much value as you say, why aren't all the jobs that you've been saying going to been disappearing? And I think that's why you see a lot of the tech companies who are the bigger investors and would be devastated if people decided that AI was a bubble and pulled out all the financing, are some of the ones saying, okay, fine, we can do that.
I think you're right. I think there's something to that. I think there's also some AI doomer stuff out there. It's kind of like a little from column A and a little from column B. So it's hard to get a good grasp on where the truth is because there's so much mis and disinformation about it. So,
anyhow,
government workers, NGOs, and media. Finally, the biggest feel-good story of the year: deportations. DHS says 2 million illegals have already left. While this is great for taxpayers and crime victims, it hits layoffs because that's 2 million fewer people going to Wendy's, getting haircuts, getting their teeth fixed with your tax dollars. So given all this noise, normally you would look at indirect numbers like quit rates, so people quit their jobs when they think that it's easy to find one, or work weeks, companies cut hours before they cut jobs. Unfortunately, both are paused in the shutdown, so we are driving in the dark. So as next brought to you by I Trust Capital, even with the noise.
So it's looking like self.
Sorry, did I forget to mute it? Sorry.
Yeah, so it looks like
there is more.
Patients are around 1.7 million people thus far, is what is coming out from CBP, and so I think that's a good number. I'd like to see that 10 times that. But,
All right, looks like okay. I thought the rest was an ad, but it's just very brief ad, and then he talks about something else. So,
on jobs and layoffs are dire enough to accelerate the Fed's rate cuts, currently predicted for another quarter point next month and 2 more by July. This matters because every point of rate cut is worth about 1 million jobs, at the cost of future inflation when, as always, they cut too much and dollars flood out. We'll get more clarity when government numbers restart. The noise itself, the shutdowns, NGOs, tariffs, deportations, and the ever-popular AI will get even worse. Listen to all...
Okay. Now, I'd like to address something else from the chat. My sister-in-law's employer, Trend Micro, a Japanese company, just closed all its U.S. North American operations. He is laid off. While that can be due to a lot of things, a lot of the Japanese-specific stuff that I've seen has, I think, probably more to do with the recent laws that just got passed in Japan that have to do with Japanese companies being focused on creating things for a Japanese audience and maintaining Japanese culture rather than trying to simply pursue a global market at all times. I think there's a lot of realignment happening inside that country at the moment, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know exactly. I mean, especially if it's a Trend Micro, sounds like a tech company. It's hard to know. I know that all the Japanese media and a lot of the Japanese video game companies just fired 100% of their Western employees, and that all of them did it within a few days of each other, and that all happened within a few days of this law getting passed. All right, Joe. I mean, it's hard to know what any of this economic gobbledygook means. That's why it's good to have guys like Jim and Pete here that we can trust on this stuff. Where's your kind of head at on the economic? I mean, what have you seen in your interactions with people at the recent events and whatnot?
Well, the biggest economic disaster everyone's falling for is the 50-year mortgage. One, you don't have to sign up for it, so don't. And two, it's a ridiculous and stupid idea designed to keep you renting from the bank for as long as humanly possible. But as far as the stuff we just talked about, unemployment numbers are not unexpected. There's a government shutdown, so therefore all of the people who live off of the government dole downstream, being NGOs and contractors and things like that, that's just a natural outpouring of it. Those jobs will all come back sometime between now and January. So I don't think it's as long-term an indicator as it appeared there. So we shall see.
When you interacted with people at the big event you went to, were people buying? Were they more hesitant to buy because maybe
they were more hesitant to buy, and class numbers are still down. Although this last class we had some better numbers than we've had all year, they are still down a little bit. Hey, on that note, I'll wait till my segment to announce some news from Kay. So,
very cool. All right, let's go into the. So he talked about NGOs, big layoffs in NGOs and things like that. So I think that kind of dovetails nicely with Data Republic, and then we'll do Tactical Wisdom, and we'll do Brush Beater after the Data Republican story. All right, so this is a ex post from Data Republican. Major breaking: international actors are involved in the State Department-led color revolution. This is not speculation; it's straight from a recorded call. So. Let's see. I can read this, or we could just maybe watch a little of the video.
Yeah, we can watch the video if you want. I wasn't clear if the video was going to be.
Well, it's kind of well. Okay, let's go down to. So let me just read the kind of the nut graph here, and then we'll go. There's like not the video here, but the one underneath it. So basically, no big deal. Everybody knew that the NGOs were attempting a cover revolution, and it was being funded and coordinated through the USAID network. But what hasn't been reported is the international aspect. One participant explicitly frames it as a global anti-authoritarian movement, meaning authoritarian. Connected U.S. officials with colleagues from around the world who have dealt with this directly. So let's go to if you look at not the video attached to this one, but if you go down, she's got a thread. Yeah, that first one is like a 50-second video.
Is happening. I think we're still in the figuring that out phase, but I do think 22nd Century will be a great place to build those connections. I know John Hopkins is also working to bridge international domestic democracy, conflict mitigation spaces. And to Hochul's point, actually just bringing in, we don't have to be intermediaries either. We can bring in actors or colleagues from around the world who have dealt with this directly, very specific issue sets, whether that's on tackling corruption or how to respond to corruption, mobilizing around corruption. We can bring those folks in and kind of be those facilitators. And so, again, I think those coordination structures are just starting to take place. And, Walt, I think.
So there you go. They've got their international partners who are used to dealing with government corruption that they can bring in to help, take care of those problems. There's a lot of kind of referring to things that they're not explicitly saying. But if you kind of fill in the blanks and the blanks are correct, then it sounds very much like, I don't know, treason, sedition, seditious conspiracy. It's you name it.
Proof to you that the deep state exists and is continuing to fight back. Right. Yeah.
This is if you ever wanted to know what the deep state looks like, this is exactly what it looks like. This is it. No, very white, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. But I can't stop myself. I have to.
Of course, there's one of them with their pronouns in there. Sorry, Washer, but I had to.
Yeah, there's several. He, him, he, her, he, his.
Okay. Wow. Jesus, that derailed me. But yeah, you're right. That's oof. Of course, looking at these people, you probably could have guessed that before they typed it. Anyways, I was gonna say, just let's not glaze past the gall of unelected bureaucrats who were cut off of the government teat for conspiring with other foreign nations in order to try and subvert the will of our government, to try and base their entire movement around being anti-authoritarian and anti-corruption. I simultaneous lightning strikes across the entire country is what would be appropriate, but here we are.
Well, and that would actually be more likely than this accidentally happening. So let's go on to the next one here. They justify the international aspect by claiming that authoritarians are already globally networked. Go ahead and play this.
International side. Certainly, our USAID community has very close relationships with locals across the entire world and have worked globally on global trends, global authoritarianism. This movement right now, we're very much framing it as an anti-authoritarian movement in the US. But the authoritarians are networked globally, and this has our movement, our very movement we're talking about right now, has the potential to ultimately be a global anti-authoritarian movement given our networks. I also want to talk to the international side. Certainly, our USAID community has very close relationships with locals across the entire world and have worked globally on global trends, global authoritarianism. This movement right now, we're very much framing it as an anti-authoritarian movement in the US. But the authoritarians are networked globally, and this has our movement, our very movement we're talking about right now, has the potential to ultimately be a global anti-authoritarian movement given our networks. I also want to talk.
In case you're wondering, she gets paid based on the number of times she says the word global and authoritarian.
I was thinking that. I was thinking it was some kind of contractual obligation.
But listen to her. She's literally crazy. She's literally crazy. And they think they're saving the world. But this right here, this video is the biggest case ever for defunding USAID.
Yeah. This next one is also pretty interesting.
Did you skip
the foment of the current constitution?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right.
Crisis is our opportunity to catalyze and synergize a dynamic change making fractal ecosystems capable of co-generating the emergence of the new thriving together based socio-political economic governance systems. That is a long sentence.
It's a lot to say to creating new socio-political economic governance systems.
As she says right there, fomenting constitutional crisis.
Mm-hmm.
You can't foment something that was already there. In other words, it's all created and all fake by them.
Yeah, I mean it's and so this thread just keeps on going, and that's if there's one thing I like about Data Republican is she always comes with a lot of receipts on whatever it is she's talking about. And like I had some doubts about her in the beginning, but and I don't always agree with what she goes on about, but it's kind of hard to disagree when you see how she kind of does this.
Brings the numbers.
This is what happens when you give an autist a free copy.
That's literally, yep.
This is exactly weaponized autism. Actually, you know what? Play this video right here. I want to hear, because I think this is her talking about
There's no audio.
Oh, there's no audio?
Yeah.
This is the link analysis, the nodal analysis. This is a pretty common technique in data science. But it shows you who's connecting with who and where the kind of. Now this doesn't look to be like a full link analysis, but like this is basically funders. Yeah, these are organizations and where, and kind of how they're organized. Yeah, this is pretty cool.
And yes, we're funding our own coup.
Yeah. It says here, this is their core ecosystem. I did not build this map. Most dots represent a separate NGO. And this is only a partial lift. It does not include actors such as DEM AID. Yes, why we are financing our own coup.
So friends, buy guns and ammo.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. You don't think of like Trump being in office as, okay, we've won, we can take it easy. So this is your opportunity to get some grasp, get some training, buy some guns, buy some ammo, all the things that you're going to need to do, because eventually, by hook or by crook, they will be back in power.
I mean, listen to these people talk. They're not going to go away, right? And while they themselves are not willing or capable of killing you, they're willing to pay someone else to do it.
Or psych up a crazy.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to give a shout out to Patrick Seven and the he linked his favorite multi-animal badger fight over on X. It's pretty fucking funny. If you're in the fan chat, he's put it over there. Let me here. I'll share it
without going back to the badger battles.
I'm sharing it in the chat with the chat. They can watch it on their own time. Though I think I'm going on with Molly and the other gal. I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
I just want to hat tip to Cowboy there.
Right, Danielle. I'm going on with them after this, and I'm taking all these links to badger battles with me.
Good. So, tell her that I pestered you, because they actually begged me to pester you to go on there. So.
Well, basically, the problem is they are literally like there's the time that they become available is like 1 a.m, midnight my time, and then they stop being available around 7, 8 in the morning my time. So it's kind of like they have like all the daytime and like which is exactly the time I'm generally asleep.
I just want to say that. Cowboy here. Good timing.
Yeah. Joe, you want to talk a little bit about the tactical wisdom?
I am, but I need to address the salacious rumors in the Rumble chat. Hunch the Dirty Roofer says, tactical wisdom, you just want me to buy guns, so I'll sell them to you. And then Be Prepared said, Hunch the Dirty Roofer, same. Yes. Listen, you guys approach me at weak moments and with fantastic deals, and they just have to be done. I mean,
gentlemen, I just to let you know, you'll have another sucker to sell guns to when I finally come back to the States, because I've gone essentially the last 12 years without buying a gun. So,
but I'll be honest, Hunch. Last night when you told me about your new build, I was like, that means something's gonna come available. Hunch is gonna be like, I need to free up some funding, so how about a great deal on this? And I'll be like, yeah, I guess so. Instead of H&K, we're going to start H&P Firearms. Hunch, that's good.
Joe, I think this is actually a good one for you to kind of tee off on here to kind of show people a little tactical wisdom here. Marlene says, I have an elderly friend who's extremely nervous about everything. She calls me daily. The fact that I watch here regularly lets me calm her to her husband's many guns and much ammo. Yeah, I mean, I think there is some comfort in knowing if you have it, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said for that. I think that's an important thing. So, absolutely. And be prepared. Haggling with Scott? You didn't haggle with me. You just said, here's the price. And there was no haggling to be had. So, anyway, let's move on to the tactical wisdom segment before I say things that get us all into trouble.
Derna's not wrong, though. It's going to be more agitated than a paratrooper coming back from Afghanistan after it.
That's true. All right, so tactical wisdom. How about that? We have some more classes that are listed, but more importantly, I wrote an article last night on hunting as training. And if you think about it, when you're out hunting, you're actually working on your patrolling skills, your fieldcraft skills, and if you do it in the old traditional fashion rather than the modern, I'm going to get in my heated blind and sit over a pile of corn. But instead you get out and you say, I'm just going to start walking through the woods till I come across a sign of deer and then track it and all that. You're actually getting some good skill training in on tracking and moving in the woods and all that kind of stuff. So I encourage you to get out there and do it. The same with hunting from an old school ground blind rather than one of them pop-up ones you can buy at Cabela's. Getting out and learning how to establish one. It's the same skills you need to set up an OP or a hide site or an ambush site, because technically hunting from a ground blind is ambushing deer, right? You're trying to set up on their travel route and hit them from a concealed location. So get out and practice and do that. What I did when I went out this weekend is I also bought a roll-up antenna and a radio, and I threw my antenna up in the tree, and I just practiced it like I was doing something for real. Right. and it was good training and good practice. So make all of that happen. Get out there and do it. And then if you want to brush up on those skills or hone those skills, come to a class. We've got some good training courses coming up. I am running a winter survival course a couple times this winter, and I'm running a winter fieldcraft variant this winter too, where we talk about some of the camouflage, cover, concealment, and movement skills that are different in the winter than they are during the rest of the year. I'll need different colored gear. I'll need to do a lot more work on hiding my trail in the snow. And we'll talk about how to move over snow and things like that. So pretty cool stuff. Come and check all that out. You can find signed copies of my books there for Christmas presents. They make a great present. Get them out there and make it all happen. Check it out. And I've gotten some news. I was talking with Kay about the 2 new pistol ranges we have on the property so that he can bring his gunfighter concepts class out here. Those who don't know, Kay owns a combat studies group that teaches the ground rod courses about digital privacy, escape and evasion, and things like that. He also teaches gunfighter concepts, and he's going to come out this summer and add a bunch more classes at Camp Ponderosa on small unit tactics, close quarters battle, and patrolling. So be watching Kay's schedule over at Combat Studies Group, as well as mine. I'm thinking about adding just a whole general calendar for Camp Ponderosa on my website, so everyone's classes are there with links to their classes. So we will make all that happen.
Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. All right.
And don't forget, I'm sorry, one more thing. Don't forget, we have 2 big things this summer. July 18th and 19th, we have War Lizard Tactical coming up with their defensive pistol class. It'll be right here on Camp Ponderosa. Joel Gaines from Arizona coming up. And then the weekend after that, so if you spent the whole week, we're going to fill it with classes. But the weekend after that will be Mountain Readiness West, featuring all kinds of people in the survival and preparedness field. Lots of guys have committed to coming, like Franklin Horton and Alan Kay. And I'm going to say it again, even though he keeps promising and never showing up, Angry American, and a bunch of others. So come on out. A lot of stuff.
What's the dates again on that?
July 24th to the 26th.
And knock on wood, I will be there.
Yes.
I've said that.
That's reason enough to come.
I've said
coming the weekend before and hanging out with Joel too.
Yeah, I've said that literally for the last 2 events. I'll be there for this past summer. Oh yeah, sure, no problem. I'll be there for Mountain Readiness. I mean, surely I'll be home by then. Nope. All right. Let's move on to the brush beater ad. All right, welcome back to Council of Future Conflict. Tonight, we're celebrating the 250th birthday of the Marine Corps and diving into an arsenal of future conflict topics. From the Devil Dog's legacy to tomorrow's battlefields, honor the fight. Enter our sponsor, Brush Beater Store, led by NC Scout. By the way, he had a good Marine joke this morning. It's Joe. You got to give him credit. It was tasteful.
I'm going to give him credit because he sent me my first happy birthday Marine message at like 5 a.m. So good man.
Brush Beater Store with Matt with training gear worthy of the few and the proud. As Marines charge forward, Brush Beater's RTO course delivers secure comms to lead the charge in any theater, echoing the Corps' unbreakable links. Storm ahead with the Advanced RTO's course, mastering signal, intel, electronic warfare to dominate the electromagnetic spectrum. The Tactical Combat Casualty Care course delivers you trains you to save brothers in arms under fire, just like a corpsman in the fray. And for the Devil Dog Precision, you've got the Kyber Optics MDO brings a closed emitter red dot shake awake 50,000 hour battery life Lock on any target from urban ops to open conflicts. And if Joe says it's good stuff, it's got to be good stuff, right? Raise the colors at the Brushbeater's Yanceyville, North Carolina training facility, or shop brushbeater.store/collection/training or collection/optics. Use code CFC10 for 5% off courses, optics, medical kits, or gear. Orders over $100 shipped for free. Huge thank to Matt at Brushbeater Store for backing the Council on Future Conflict. Visit brushbeater.store, enter the code CFC10, and gear up like a Marine. Hoorah! Back to the show.
Let me tell you, I used the 3 to 18 by 50 scope over the weekend. Thing is fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's the basically the short dot one. I mean, not the short dot. It's the LBVO, right?
It's an MPVO, but yeah, it's a medium
MPVO.
power variable optic. But yes,
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I've never had the low power optic before, so I'm looking forward to.
it's 1 to
getting
10.
one of those.
I've got that on a rifle, and man, it's an amazing sight. Be Prepared and Hunch were there with me when I zeroed it, and man, fast zero and fantastic scope.
Yeah,
You
I've got the parts for a kind of an AR that I'm going to turn into like a designated mark, DMR style, and I think something like that would be good for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Watcher. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's good. I was just going to say, it looks like Kyber Optics has their own branded PVS 14 now, which means they're building them there at the factory, building them there. And yeah, man, I'd get on that.
Verizon internet in North Carolina must be down. Borrowing a Wi-Fi, that sucks. Well, Daisy girl, sorry. All right. Let's get back into it. So the FBI chief is out and about doing things that I hope are good. I'm still not super pleased with him, but it's kind of like he never quite has bounced back, but he's doing generally good stuff. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I haven't decided if I want to start liking him at all because he still dropped the ball in big stuff.
Man, I want to like him in a you're an underdog and you're doing the right thing, just not as much of the right thing as I'd like kind of way. But then you see stuff like his challenge coin and the Sea and Valhalla shit and you go,
What Indian dude talking about Valhalla?
yeah,
Cool.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, Punisher Challenger coin. Like hyper Punisher Challenger coin too, not just like any Punisher Challenger coin. Oh boy. Yeah, man, it's tough. I want to like the guy, but he makes it really hard.
Yeah, the Valhalla thing doesn't bother me as much because I eschew all Valhalla stuff. So like anybody who is not one of these weirdo Norse people, our buddy. He full on goes the Norse thing, so it doesn't really bother me when he says it. But
look,
when my Christian buddies say it, I'm just kind of like, all right, come on, buddy.
Same, and then also, I don't know, like, it's the same kind and amount of cringe as when I see, what's the I don't know the PC term for it, but Wigger culture is what they used to call themselves. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So
you mean white urban youths?
Yes, white urban youths, or more often, white suburban youths who wish to appear hard.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the point is that I'm less worried about the kind of the surface things, and the things that I really want him to dig into are not telling me that there's nothing here to see on fucking Epstein and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I still have not turned the corner on this guy yet. That being said, he has done some good things, and I try to call balls and strikes. All right. FBI Chief Kash Patel visited China to talk fentanyl, law enforcement report. So he visited China last week to discuss fentanyl. Two people familiar with this trip told Reuters following a summit between the U.S. and Chinese presidents where both hailed consensus on matters. A person briefed on Patel's trip said the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation flew into Beijing on Friday and stayed for about a day. He held talks with Chinese officials on Saturday, the person said. Patel's visit to Beijing was not officially announced by either the U.S. or China and is reported by Reuters for the first time. Chinese Ministry of Public Security is its Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the U.S. Embassy in Beijing all did not immediately respond to Reuters' questions, a request for comments. President Donald Trump halved the tariffs on Chinese goods imposed as a punishment over the flow of fentanyl to 10% after reaching the agreement during last month's talks with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Xi will work very hard to stop the flow of fentanyl, a deadly synthetic opioid that's the leading cause of American overdose deaths. Trump told reporters after the talks, Treasury Secretary, let's get down to the parts about. So there's really not a whole lot of details. What do you guys think? I mean, Kash Patel's basically a 3-letter agency intel guy as far as I'm concerned. What do you think this was about?
Oh, I don't know what it's about, but I think it's about getting the appearance of doing something, I guess.
There you go. Yep.
But
yeah.
I want to point out that somebody said, he dropped the ball on the bomber. Oh, he did not. He took the ball and he hid it in a closet so nobody would find it, and he got it out anyway. I want to point out too that the January 6th bomber thing turned out to be exactly what this council said it was going to be, and that's a government operation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kash is the MAGA Malcolm Nance. Well done, Jay Clark. Well done.
Yeah. What do I think this is about, Scott? Well, I think, as I said on the trade show, and Jim confirmed, Trump got fucking snowed. And this is them trying to play that in a positive light.
He's
going to work real hard on it, Scott. He's going to work real hard to stop the flow of fentanyl.
This is my most optimistic version of this, and it only gets worse from here. This basically, they send Kash Patel over separately and not connected to the Trump trip, so that Kash Patel can basically lay intel on the table and basically, this is what we know, and this this guy works for you, and this guy works for you, and here's him talking to this guy, and you know what I mean? Like, that's like the most optimistic version that I
would
can say.
Awesome.
So basically, say, listen, like, we're not gonna put this out there, but you guys need to fix this shit. Because we know this, and we also know other things that we didn't bring today, right? Like, that would be my dream version. Like, if I was writing a novel of this, that's how I would.
Add one more to that, as long as we're going on the dream version, which is, hey, do you see what's happening in the Caribbean? Boy, the Pacific's awful large, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen, though. I hope that's what it is, Scott. But what was your next call of pour? What's the next one down the bullet point list?
I don't know. I mean, it just goes worse from there. It goes all the way to Kash picking up his bag of money.
Yeah, I don't think it's probably that far, but
I know. But my point is that that's the best I could come up with. Joe, what about you? What do you think's your best case scenario on this?
The best case scenario is just say, well, we've reached an agreement, but they won't really give you any specifics or details.
Yeah.
That way they can claim victory and say, look, it's working. We can't tell you what the details are because, it's secret, but look at how good we're doing. Yay us, we're great.
He's not calling Kash for no reason.
I'd like to talk about this real quick, and I both agree and disagree. I agree, we do need to stop the demand. Recently, there is a demand for fentanyl. Specifically, there are people who actually seek it out. Although, as far as I've heard, that is a few subcultures in a few major metropolitan areas. Most of where the fentanyl goes is in being cut into other shit. And in that case, there is no demand for it. The demand for it is on a supply chain side of the Chinese are telling the cartels, you're going to put this in your drugs.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I probably somewhere in the middle is just like really mild mannered, like law enforcement coordination meeting. Like I'm meeting my counterpart for the first time, and yes, let's talk about. We want to have good and open, honest. I mean, that ultimately does nothing for us, but it also is not right. It's not. It's and that could be what this is. His first trip over to China to meet his counterparts and.
Maybe I get the distinct feeling that this is to sell. It's to sell we're gonna work really hard on the fentanyl thing. I feel like that's all it is, and I feel like it's a waste of time. But hopefully I'm wrong.
Omega Lloyd, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm not going to carry Narcan because I feel like if somebody does fentanyl, that's on them. And this is a harsh thing to say, but it's a true thing to say. There are people in several cities that I can point to who have been saved by Narcan 6 or 7 times. All you're doing is prolonging the problem and making it cost more for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Let nature take its course. It's called natural selection for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, if the person's got it on them, right? If they're paying for it and supplying it, sure. But do you know how many stories I've seen of guys
using Narcan? That should be a life-changing moment for you, where you decide, you know what?
Yeah,
I should stop doing this. And then the second time I find you overdosed, that's on you.
Yeah, look, the other side of this is the number of stories I've seen of people who've OD'd and then a firefighter comes and Narcans them and they wake up and kill the firefighter.
Yeah.
Is even one is unacceptable, but it's not a small number.
Yeah.
Real quick, everybody, I see that people are saying there's a problem on Rumble. I just got onto Rumble, and I'll even show you on my screen.
You just have to refresh.
It's working fine for me, so.
Let's see.
He just needs some milk.
Listen, if y'all are Narcan for your first aid kits, let me give you some advice, okay? Sure, you can buy it in a lot of places, but you can also walk into any emergency room, and there's a little vending machine in the back where it's free. Just go and get one there, and then come back tomorrow and get another one.
And they're very expensive from what I understand. They're multiple hundreds of dollars a shot.
But they give it away. You just have to go and ask for it, and they'll give it to you. It's usually a little vending machine. You don't even have to talk to anybody. It allows you to take one, get one.
Yeah, that's it. This is nothing but sad. Like when I think about like what we do to ourselves. But then again, we're not the only country doing stupid things to ourselves. I give you France, Britain, and Germany deploying anti-drone teams to Belgium. It's almost like Belgium. I guess this is probably the Russians, right, Joe? Probably the Russians doing this. Oh, wait a second. No, it's their homegrown Islamic terrorists that are probably doing it. Something they've done to themselves. Let's see. British Chief of Defense, told BBC News on Saturday that the UK is following France and Germany, but providing staff and equipment to help Belgium counter drone incursions around sensitive facilities. The Belgian Ministry of Defense thanked our British friends for their decision to deploy anti-drone team. As soon as the Britain finds out that these are Islamic-controlled drones, they'll be like, "Oh, sorry, we're not going to,
Thank you for the help.
On the rights of any of our Muslim brothers." Airports in Brussels and Liège were forced to suspend flights last week after unidentified drones were spotted in the airspace, and other drones overflew the port of Antwerp recently. Even Belgium's military bases have been targeted. Incursions of unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs over the EU's critical infrastructure sites have escalated in recent months, with the European Commission dubbing them part of the hybrid war that Russia is conducting. Yes, Russia.
It must be Russia. There could possibly be no one else who owns drones in that area.
And it has designs on doing harm to places like Belgium. And let's see, Germany's defense minister. Let's see. Oh no. Let's see. The Belgian National Security Center will be fully operational on January 1st in 26. The defense minister said after holding an emergency meeting of the National Security Council on Thursday. The Belgian government asked for help from Britain, Paris, and London. Are all sending Air Force experts. Germany's defense minister said that the drone incursions were linked to the ongoing talks of using Russian frozen assets to help fund Ukraine's effort to defend itself against Moscow's all-out invasion. The assets are mostly held in Belgium's Euroclear facility. Yeah.
You know what? I want to commend them because they didn't say Moscow's illegal war on Ukraine. This time they said all-out invasion.
Yes,
let me just promise you, Russia has approximately 1.7 million troops that are not committed in Ukraine. If there was an all-out invasion, there would be a Russian soldier on every block in Ukraine.
Let's see. This is a measure aimed at spreading insecurity, fear-mongering in Belgium. Don't you dare touch the frozen assets. Let's see. Belgium's government did not explicitly point the finger at Moscow, but the country's security service has little doubt about the origin. Russia is clearly a plausible suspect. Okay. Is Russia a plausible suspect? Sure. They are a plausible suspect. The problem is like, they're like the fourth on that list, right? In all the three other plausible suspects that have more motivation and ability to take these actions inside Belgium, they're all Muslim operations.
Oh, I don't know. The U.S. has capability.
I'd say us, China. Well, China's also a decent
true,
possibility.
But we I don't see us doing this against civilian targets like an airport or something like that.
Oh, I do. In order to push a narrative for that Russia bad, I completely see.
Well, maybe the Biden administration, maybe deep state, like rogue forces. Like I don't see the administration.
Or maybe NGOs formerly tied.
There we go. Yes,
I
agree with that.
People you saw in that video are still current United States government employees.
Right, but you can't. No. Those are all mostly NGO folks.
Okay. They're all U.S. government contractors. Who flies the majority of our drones? Is it the military or contractors?
Contractors.
I mean, are you talking about military drones?
I'm talking about drones in general for the federal government.
I mean, well, probably contractors because
yes, it is contractors.
You don't have any drone forces outside the military. It may be FBI or some of the other law enforcement.
Well, literally every local law enforcement now has a drone operator.
I got it. I guess I'm just differentiating between the administration and their kind of people versus
if you don't
rogue
think
actors.
That there are entire contracting companies that fly military drones for the United States government in places where we allegedly don't have military drones, I've got bad news for you. It is big business.
No. We saw that during the whole New Jersey, drone thing. I mean, that was clearly, the right hand not knowing what the left hand was doing. So I mean, I don't disagree with that. What I guess I was saying is that I don't think that the administration is ordering drone flights over Belgium.
I didn't say they did.
Oh, you don't think it's Trump?
That's what I said. That's what I. When I say the U.S.,
I just said the U.S. is running them.
When I said the U.S., I mean the actual federal government at the
Scott, I totally get it, but I know you have to say the things you have to say. But I've got news for you: the administration does not run the government. It thinks it does, and it should.
No.
But it does
But
not.
then it would be right to say then rogue actors within the U.S. government.
Well, fair.
Okay.
At this point, for now.
Right.
I'll let you say that they're rogue actors. I would say they're doing exactly what the state wants them to do. Therefore, they're not rogue, and the administration is the rogue actor.
Yeah. Then I would call that a deep state operative or somebody like that, right? You know.
What I just said. That's how I started this whole thing.
By the way, guys, I've missed some super chats. Let me catch up on those real quick. I don't know how I missed these. Lance Corporal Veteran for $2 said more promises China won't commit to. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're talking about
they'll commit to them. They just won't ever follow through with anything ever. They'll commit to anything you want, though.
And Lance Corporal Veteran again for $2 says China marking a date Trump leaves to keep smuggling. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. They'll find a way to smuggle no matter what. They just get less and less control, or they lose more and more of the product. You know, the more diffused it becomes. All right. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Back to one of our least favorite topics that we have to cover from time to time. Millions of Ukrainians face dark and cold after one of Russia's largest attacks on energy infrastructure. Now, Joe, you made a very good observation prior to the show starting about this.
Yeah.
You want to make that before I start reading? By the way, this is a CNN story, so you got to know.
So this is CNN story on the Russian strike. Millions face dark and cold after one of Russia's largest attacks on energy infrastructure. Less than 12 hours later, Ukraine struck back at the Russian energy infrastructure, and it was lauding Kiev's brilliant strike on Russia's energy infrastructure. So if Russia does it to Ukraine, it's bad and evil, and people face dark and cold. But it's brave and stunning when Kiev attacks Moscow's infrastructure. It's just so silly. The propaganda, the dial they turn is crazy.
Yeah. That's 100% on that one, Joe. You're spot on.
I have to say, Rowan Coward also perfectly encapsulates the Chinese opinion on the fentanyl flow here. Just that is exactly correct.
Yeah, I commit to stop doing just not following through. Well, then she would argue that you didn't commit very well. All right.
I committed long ago to stop buying guns without telling anybody.
Yeah, see how that worked out? Yep.
Yes.
Millions of Ukrainians are enduring cold temperatures and darkness after a wave of Russian attacks against energy facilities caused widespread power outages across the country. Ukrainian authorities have warned the large scale of the damages means it will take time to restore energy flows. Electricity supplied across the country could be rationed, with people in Kiev set to be without power for 10 to 12 hours on Sunday. Sounds like a normal day in South Africa. According to schedules published by energy companies, let's see. Ukraine's energy minister said the attack on Saturday was one of the largest direct ballistic attacks on energy facilities since the start of the war. She said that energy power cuts were implemented across the country, across almost all regions to stabilize the network. We then switched to hourly power cuts so that customers could more easily plan their activities around the outages. The attack over the weekend came just as temperatures in Ukraine began to drop into single digits degrees Celsius. Russia has targeted Ukraine's energy infrastructure on numerous occasions since it launched its full-scale invasion. Joe, there's that word again, full-scale invasion. It's almost like maybe a memo went out.
It's almost like a memo went out, right?
Full-scale invasion in 2022, usually stepping up attacks around this time of the year. Those frequent disruptions have forced Ukrainians to adapt. Diesel generators have become common sight across the country, and people have become accustomed to scheduling their lives around planned outages. Many families are now scheduling cooking and homework time around the power schedules, and the elderly people not leaving their homes in fear of getting stuck without access to the lift. I mean, you know.
Somebody brought up something here. Laura Cox says, I thought Trump was going to fix the war day one. Ukraine just needs to wave the white flag. Well, I mean...
How dare you, Laura Cox? President Trump has done everything perfect. He's never failed.
Yeah. No, we're with you on that. We've been saying it for a while. But unfortunately, the whole just wave the white flag thing, you have to talk them into it.
Yeah, the biggest thing I fault Trump for on the Ukraine-Russia is to making a promise that ultimately he was not in his hands to make. Like, like you can work as hard as, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's worked really hard to bring these two sides together. But if they don't want to stop fighting, they're not going to stop fighting no matter what.
Well, also, look, there was an intentional effort on the Biden and Zelensky team's part in order to try and exacerbate things as much as possible right before the election, which made it so that any off-ramp that would have been easy to take is now impossible because Russia has to try and get their pound of flesh out. I don't know. Well, no, I completely agree with that part, Laura. And yes, we probably could. I mean, the fact is Here's the crazy part, right? The day we get rid of Zelensky, or the day we decide that we're tired of Zelensky, we don't have to do anything except for, oh no, look, that location just happened to broadcast. Oops.
So one of the things, Laura, you got to realize is that TTP, right, the color revolution and the really getting involved in like regime change, that's not the Trump playbook. That's not the MAGA playbook, right? That's literally the opposite of how they handle things. That's way more the style of the neocons and Obama. By the way, Obama really didn't differ very, very significantly from the neocon playbook. If you didn't already realize that. But yeah, so what is the Trump playbook is basically high pressure, right? Put a lot of pressure on somebody, make them yell uncle, and if they don't yell uncle, just literally hammer them into the ground based on what we saw with Iran. And so yeah, that's what I would expect to see with Venezuela.
Can I point out another piece of propaganda in that article?
Yeah. Right
there, that in the bold. What does that say? Russia strikes
when people are asleep.
Okay. Say it ain't so. When does the United States military prefer to fight?
At night.
When people are sleeping.
When do you suppose the Ukrainian attack on Moscow happened after this one?
Well, gee, that would be in the dark, yeah.
It's so silly. It's just absolutely ludicrous. And people fall for it. Right?
Oh, geez, hold on.
The U.S. military goes until dusk and then sets up camp for the night and doesn't roll out again until dawn. Crazy.
Oh, hold on. I got to find this because this meme applies so often. It's, here we go. Yes.
Well said, Derna. In your sleep on Christmas. Correct. George Washington was a G. Yeah, this is it right there.
They literally did the meme.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next story here. Another Ukraine related story. Basically the postscript to the coverage from last week. New footage shows capture of Ukrainians in strategic hub. Russia advances elsewhere. Ukrainians are in an increasingly difficult situation in the city of Pokrovsk. So basically, it's entirely surrounded now. You've got Ukrainians trying to hold out, but let's be honest, it's one of those kind of forlorn hopes at this point. The footage shows the moment when one of the Ukrainian soldiers raises his hand and surrenders. There's an ongoing debate surrounding who controls Pokrovsk, a strategic logistics hub for the Ukrainian army. The Ukrainian side claims there are only a few Russian units, which its special forces are already working to eliminate. And the city will be completely back under complete control of the Ukrainians any day now. And Russia says it has nearly total control of the city. Let me be honest. I'm going to buy the Russian story on this one. Moscow claims Russian troops are actively advancing in Kupiansk, according to information from the Russian news agency. Russian troops are currently advancing on the right bank of the Oskol River, where about 130 buildings remain to be captured. In the western part of Kupiansk, the troops have advanced along 3 streets and captured 16 buildings in just 24 hours. They managed to take control of 25 buildings. The Ukrainians are trying to retake the city, but their supply routes are now controlled by the Russians. The Russian Defense Ministry said that Zelensky has completely lost touch with reality. Meanwhile, Putin ordered Russians to mobilize, signing a law on November 4th requiring citizens to be called up for military service throughout the calendar year. Active reservists in Russia will now be able to participate in special training, and reservists will also be able to be deployed in occupied territory. Previously, officials in Moscow stated the reservists were only protecting the infrastructure in their own region. Let's see if there's a little more to this.
That's important because Russia's reserves are set up as a true territorial army, right? Like they have regional.
Yeah, regional. Yeah. It's kind of like our National Guard in a way, the way they do it. But
Except
they have their
that
own.
Our National Guard is not banned from being deployed,
right,
outside the U.S. The Russian reserves generally are the Rosguardia, unless they decide not to, like they did here. And Squishy Hunter, that new Sydney Sweeney meme template is just fire, and it's everywhere. So, it was on the sidebar of that show. As Albert says there, the face that launched 1,000 memes.
Oh.
The one from her interview where she's looking at the girl.
Yeah. Where she's just like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, exactly. Just on the sidebar of that article we were reading.
Yeah, as long as we're here, I did see a fun, interesting breakdown of something about related to that was interesting, because people were like, "Oh, I can't." That journalist deserved it for trying to pop a gotcha, and somebody who like is a recent crossover who's finally seen the light was like, "No, I know that's what it looks like from this side of the fence, but actually, what she was doing is like." She was basically like, "Oh, I know you're really a person, and you have to believe all these things that real, honestly true, real, actual people believe, right? Because the other people, the people who don't believe that, they're not real people. So I just wanted to give you this opportunity to clarify to everybody that, you're not really a terrible person, right?" I found that very interesting to be able to see from the enemy's perspective in that way.
It's the classic leftist thing. You don't really beat your wife, do you?
Yeah.
Right. You can't possibly be a horrible person.
Quirky Chungus millennials on Suicide Watch.
All right.
I say, sir, I resemble that remark.
So, Let's Go for Veteran for $2 said capture Ukrainian cities, unavailable for comments. Yes. There was something. Okay. All right. All right. Moving to our favorite region of Africa, the Sahel. Sudan medics chorus RFS of burying bodies to conceal genocide.
They did a very poor job of that, might I add, because people have pointed out that the genocide is so bad, and you can literally see the blood on the fields from space. You can
it's impossible to know, and both sides are doing it. I mean, so it's not like
while this article, let's note what it says at the top. Al Jazeera.
Yeah.
This article is going to paint the RSF as the only bad guys in this, but the Sudanese army is doing the same thing on the other side. Right.
Well,
what you have is the sub-Saharans fighting with the North Africans here.
Isn't Al Jazeera based out of the UAE?
Yes.
But the RSF is funded by the UAE, right? I mean, I'm just saying.
Weird.
They may want to check in with their minders here.
I think they're different factions.
I think that just they're based there, and that's not their funders. Their funders are Iran.
All right. That would be that's the first I've ever heard that. But all right, let's see. Sudanese
Iran
medical.
funds Al Jazeera.
I've just never heard that before.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I just want to point this out before we move on because nobody's mentioned it yet.
Arm of the Quds Force.
Yeah.
I thought that was Press TV. Those are the people I've actually interacted with.
What Squishy Hunter brings up here is true. A lot of other YouTubers have covered this, but yes, it's literally visible on Google Maps.
Yeah. I saw that the other day. It was pretty crazy. All right. Sudanese medical organization is accused of. All right, we already got to that part. The Sudan Doctors Network said on Sunday that the paramilitaries are collecting hundreds of bodies from streets in El Fasher in Sudan's western Darfur region after their bloody takeover of the city on October 26th, saying that the group's crimes could not be erased through the concealment or burning. What happened in El Fasher?
Didn't George Clooney do a whole fundraiser and a press conference? So there's no one dying in Darfur. George Clooney ended all that.
He fixed it. Actually, I think he created South Sudan is what he ended up doing. And oddly enough, South Sudan seems to be doing all right. I mean, like in comparison to regular Sudan. If I remember correctly, South Sudan's Christian mostly, if I remember correctly. It's almost like Christians are more peaceful. I don't know. It's
weird.
Call me crazy, Joe.
Weird.
It's weird. By the way, both sides of this are Muslim, just so you know. Let's see. What happened in El Fasher is not an isolated incident, but rather another chapter in a full-fledged genocide carried out by the RSF, blatantly violating all international and religious norms that prohibit the mutilation of corpses and guarantee the dead the right to a dignified burial. You got to understand, this has way less to do with Islam and has way more to do with just barbarity. And just complete absolute running amok. I mean, because let's be honest, most civilized Muslims do, in fact, respect all these things, right? I mean, they may kill you and murder you and genocide you, but then they'll bury you and allow your family to bury you. They'll turn your body over to the Israeli authorities and things like this.
It's almost like there's some condition or state of mind in Africa that leads to this.
Targeted ethnic killings. Now, here's if you want to, if this is it, right? It's the ethnic piece, right? And it's not like a racial component. It's literally who these people are and what they mean to each other.
But it kind of is, because sub-Saharan Africans are black and North Africans are generally Arab. So there is a racial component to this.
Yeah, but in Sudan, it's almost entirely black Africans killing black Africans, black Muslims killing black Muslims. So it gets to that kind of like you live 2 blocks this way, so I have to hate you and want to, you know what I mean? It's like it's these really stupid kind of tribal differences that are honestly that's what's dividing America right now too. Oddly enough. Let's see. Targeted ethnic killings. With the communications blackout in the city, many did not know what had happened to their family members. They believed that if their relatives are still alive in El Fasher, then they may not be so for long because the lack of food and water, or because the RSF has been targeting people based on their ethnicities. Yes, the RSF has been fighting the Sudanese army for control of Sudan since April 2023, traces its origin to the predominantly Arab government-backed militia known as the Janjaweed, which has been accused of genocide in Darfur for 2 decades ago, between 2003 and 2008. Now, if I remember correctly, Joe, the Saudis traditionally had a lot of fingers in the Sudanese pie. Is it and the UAE and I want to say maybe the Kuwaitis. I can't remember exactly how that whole thing worked, but it's like they weren't like in control of the country, but they were like influencing the people who were in control. I can't remember. Do you know more about that?
The Saudis always have had a hand in North African affairs, But actually, here it's the Egyptians who had a little more influence, and the Muslim Brotherhood.
Well, and I do know that Sudan mercenaries fought in Yemen for UAE and the Saudis. I know Sudanese mercenaries work for the Saudi Arabian army on the border, and the Saudi border. And many of the troops that got rolled up by Yemen by the Houthis were actual Sudanese units of the Saudi army. You don't pay your mercenaries enough, they fall asleep on guard, and then they get rolled up by the Houthis. So
their problem was taking Sudanese, not Hessians with aggression. That's an old Bugs Bunny reference if you get it. I'm a Hessian and I'm full of aggression.
Full aggression. I remember that. Let's see. Josh Clark says South Sudan had its own civil wars, though they calmed down when the Muslims started fighting amongst themselves and thus stopped funding factions in the South. Yeah,
that's exactly right. But again, the civil wars in South Sudan were an attempt to stamp out Christianity as opposed to a more Muslim influenced government. So.
Right. This is right. All right. Let's see. We have one more story. Yeah, we have one more story left.
Patrick says Sudanese pie smells like sweaty goat. Can I tell you why that is?
Well, it's probably something to do with the country right next door, Djibouti.
Or it has to do with the fact that the pie is made from sweaty goat. So
come on, Joe. I'm trying to get a Djibouti joke in here.
Listen, Djibouti is the one place of Africa where there's no conflict. Everyone just wants to get a hand on Djibouti.
Speaking of Djibouti, Japan's Takashi defends Taiwan remarks after Chinese criticism. So, she's not just a pretty face, with her 80s, her 80s vibe car and all that kind of stuff. She's already starting to kind of step up to the plate a bit in East Asia. Japan's new Prime Minister Sanae Takashi on Monday defended her description of a conflict over Taiwan as potentially amounting to an existential risk for Japan after a Chinese diplomat accused her of meddling in Beijing's internal affairs. The irony is, Joe, is that nobody in the world sees Taiwan as Beijing's internal affairs. Literally no one except for China sees it that way.
Yeah, everyone else sees them as an independent country because guess what? They're an independent country and always have been. Right. And can I just say that although you love to mispronounce foreign names, it's Takaichi, not Takashi.
Yeah, that's why when I said that, I said it wrong, and I was like, oh, should I go back? I was like,
but it's your thing. It's just how you roll. It's okay. It's all right.
Well, yeah. So, never mind. I
just want Madam Takaichi to know that we know. We're just doing it wrong on purpose.
No, I didn't do it on purpose. But I noticed it was wrong after I said it, and I was just like, I wanted to say something and then correct myself, but I was like, fuck it, I'll just keep going. Anyway, last Friday, Takaichi said that if military force were to be used in a Taiwan conflict, including use of warships, it could be considered a survival-threatening situation for Japan. That classification is significant because it would provide a legal justification for Japan to deploy its military to help defend friendly nations. Yeah, that's actually a pretty big deal that she said that, Joe. That's kind of like what is it? A clear and present danger, for a national security finding, that type of language that a president has to use for very specific situations. Although I did state a number of possible scenarios, I also said that the government would make a comprehensive judgment on whether the situation constitutes a survival-threatening situation, taking into account all information, Takaichi said on Monday when asked in Parliament to clarify her position on the matter. Takaichi didn't.
To be honest, everyone in East Asia, when Japan starts talking about moving her navy, they have a long memory. Right?
Yeah.
The Japanese were not known for their fine honor during warfare. So.
Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that they've been cuddly teddy bears and anime girls for the last, 70 years. Before that, they were pretty much the scourge of East Asia. I mean, literally, they, people hated them and wanted wanted them dead after. I mean, there were literally calls to genocide the entire Japanese population by some parts of China and other places. Let's see. Her comments on Friday sparked anger from Zhu Zhan, the consulate general of China in the western city of Osaka, who took to X to say that Japan's stance is in considering a Taiwan contingency as threatening to its own survival as a fatal path chosen by a foolish politicians. If you go sticking your filthy neck where it doesn't belong, it's going to get sliced right off. Are you ready for that? Zhu wrote in a separate post. According to Japan Forward, the English language branch of Sankei Shimbun, the post was subsequently deleted. Joe, that is pretty fucking ballsy language for any.
It was a little. It's a little straightforward. It has since been deleted, probably at the order of the Chinese government. It was like, bruh, we can think it, we just can't say it. But,
right. Don't ever take the mask fully off.
Back in the day, that right there would have been cause for war, right?
Yeah, right.
But man, that was a pretty wild statement.
Japanese chief cabinet secretary said on Monday that Tokyo had filed a complaint to Beijing over Zhu's remarks.
I'm going to call your manager.
Although the intention of the post was unclear, it must be said that the wording was very inappropriate for the leader of a Chinese consulate. Yes,
I think the intention of the post was incredibly clear, like crystal.
I think, but inappropriate for sure. Let's be honest. No matter, let's assume all Chinese people thought the exact same thing. It's still not his call to make that statement for the entire Chinese government.
It's not. Let's be very frank. It's not wise. This statement will come back to haunt China.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Because now they know. It's like you only have to know one time to know. It's kind of like with liberal Democrats. Like we knew back in Obama's day, like where they were going, and we've known ever since.
Yeah.
Let's see. Under the pacifist constitution, Japan retains tight controls on its use of military, but a law adopted in 2015 reinterpreted the constitution to allow the use of armed forces to collective self-defense in certain limited situations, including a survival-threatening situation for Japan. Previous administrations have shied away from specifying what exactly would constitute such a scenario. Adam Liff, a professor of Japanese politics and security at Indiana University, said Takaichi's remarks shouldn't be seen as a comment to any particular action in a crisis over Taiwan. Her response is best understood as a frank recognition of one of the possibilities that's been discussed internally within the government of Japan and noted in public by many politicians. Yeah, I mean, I think that's obviously correct. She's not saying like, listen, you guys do anything in regards to that becomes an existential threat for us and we're going to act, right? She didn't say that. China considers Taiwan or we already know this part. Earlier this month, China criticized Takaichi for meeting with a Taiwan official on the sidelines of the APEC summit in South Korea, and then posting about it on X. Well, tough shit, China. I mean, people aren't just going to do what you say. I think that, you know what? I think that pisses China off almost more than anything else is when they aren't able to control people. I mean, this is why they talk about like, don't get involved in the internal politics of China, right? You know, it's like they get so fucking bent out of shape on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is funny. Somebody posted this picture of African tribal groups fighting each other with spears from like the 50s or the 60s. And they said live footage from the Sudanese battlefield. It's funny. It's pretty funny. All right. Inappropriate. All right. Hey, gentlemen, that's all I got for today. look. Even if we don't have two, three odds and ends and two subjects, we have 9 stories, and we had 2 hours worth of content. I think it works out.
Good stuff.
All right, Joe. Looking towards the week, so shutdown is probably completely over here in the next 24 to 48 hours. What comes next? Anything else? Does this clear the decks for Venezuela to get going, or what else?
It does. I heard an interesting theory that the Gerald R. Ford is simply a distraction because they don't really need it. There are enough VTOL and VSTOL aircraft on the Marine Amphibious Group that you don't really need all-weather strike aircraft that would be on the Ford. And the Ford might be keeping the Ford out of reach of Venezuela might be a distraction to make Venezuela think, oh, they can't hit us that hard. And when the Marine Corps fires up those, 40 plus, 50 plus year old Harriers and they kick the crap out of your Air Force, you might be surprised by it. But the Marine Corps also has F-18s, so a lot to be said there. So I think I'd still watch for Venezuela. I'd also watch for the left to absolutely lose their mind because the shutdown is over and they didn't get what they wanted out of it. So,
yeah, something started going on with the left before the shutdown ended, and I'm not sure. There's a lot of theories. A lot of people have pitched a lot of stuff, but there have been a lot of right-leaning figures that have either received threats or have been the target of attempted attacks. Something really, really got the crazies on the left stirred up over the weekend.
Let me tell you, S2 Underground raised an interesting point yesterday. So a lot of you say that Jay Jones was elected as the prosecuting attorney or attorney general in Virginia in spite of his threats. The truth is he was elected because of his threats. And a lot of people on the left feel like more left-wing political figures need to be threatening the death of right-wing people. And that tells you where you are, right?
Here's the thing that I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't start to see play out over the next couple months is an internal, and it won't be a huge internal split. It might be like as much as 20% of the current left is basically like, I can't side with a communist. I can't. It's like they've gone too far. I can't go with them. Now, does that mean they'll support the other side? No, they won't. But the kind of like their last dying gasp will be them basically not going along with their
They'll vote
side.
green. They'll vote green or something like that.
Well, but what they'll do is they'll just get out of office. They'll be like, "Fuck it, I'm done. I'm out, and I'm."
Oh, you meant the politicians? I thought.
Yeah, the politicians, and they'll drag their feet on any kind of legislative agenda. They may help out the Republicans. It's kind of like what you see Fetterman doing. I think Fetterman really is kind of like the voice of that. Kristen Sinema was part of it. Joe Manchin. These are Democrats that are like, listen, I can't go along with where they're at. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, I think Joe Rogan had Joe Manchin on recently? Or was it, I can't remember where Joe Manchin was on. Anyway, the point is he was on a podcast recently and he was just kind of going in. It was like, listen, like I couldn't go along with the things that fucking Joe Biden was just okay to go along with. And he's like, and Joe Biden wasn't, it's like, I knew Joe Biden back in the day. He was not that guy. So there were literally people, writing his agenda for it, and he was just rubber stamping it, and I couldn't do that. And I don't know how many left-leaning people that I've met that are just like, what the fuck happened to the Democratic Party? It's like the Mondami is the future of the Democratic Party. And you want to know what it is? It's all of these millennials that have been sold a bill of goods and they're fucking left holding the bag. They can't afford rent. They can't buy a house. They can't get a good job. They've got, $200,000 in student debt because, the system sold it.
It's because they believe they're going to get all these things that they are where they are today. Watcher raised an interesting point in our private chat about Even Mom Johnson backed off on what he said, right?
Came out this morning and essentially said, "Yeah, hey, you remember how I said I was gonna raise minimum wage to $30?"
He can't do any of that stuff. He has to have the state assembly do almost everything.
He literally,
Even if he did, just for it would cause the closure of every restaurant in the city. They could not function.
Yeah, right.
Right. But then he comes out and he literally says, I can't do it. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to make do."
Now, I heard a conservative say this over the weekend, and I thought it was interesting, right? Like, if you take a typical old school conservative point of view, you basically hold the individual responsible. You sign up for a fucking college loan, you fucking did that. Fuck you. You pay for it, right? But if you put it in the full context of the communist machine, like, in order for me to get this person to vote for me in the future, I have to put them so far into debt that they can never get out, and that and basically my bailout of their life is gonna make them indentured to me. And when you look at it as a systemic thing, then it's like, well, how do we get these people out from underneath the thumb of these communists who are going to promise them everything every election cycle? And anybody who's in $100,000 worth of debt and can't see, the light at the end of the tunnel, they're just going to. The Republicans got nothing for me, so I'm going to vote Democrat because they're saying they're going to give me a free phone and some debt forgiveness.
Obama,
you know what I mean?
It's Obama phone.
So the problem is it's a wicked problem. Is it like, did the system really fucking screw them? And I think the system has kind of screwed them. I don't know that a debt forgiveness is the right answer, but
no, the traditional
system fucking screwed them.
The traditional answer has been, we'll grow the economy until they'll be successful enough on their own that they won't want it. The issue being that the ways the economy are currently growing are not ways that enrich the lower and middle class. They're ways that enrich almost exclusively the highest echelon of income earners exclusively, to the detriment of everyone else. So I'm not usually a fixed pie kind of guy, but when we're talking about laying off humans in the same way that horses were laid off after the invention of the internal combustion engine, it's going to look a little different.
Yeah, there was I think there are some interesting conversations going on about what the future looks like with AI, and the bottom line is nobody has any fucking idea what it's going to look like. And anybody who said, if somebody says, I think this might be it, but as long as they tell you, hey, listen, I don't really know, then I think they're being honest. But if they think that they really know, they're bullshitting you.
People are telling me to check the COC chat. I don't. I only have the future conflict handle to use on X until my account's unbanned. Well, no, that's what it's not. At least I can't see it.
Let me look.
I'm in the main council chat and the executive council chat, but I'm not in the fan chat.
All right, I just added it. You're right, it wasn't in there. It's in there now.
But there is hope. Phoenix Ammunition got their account back. So.
Hey, sweet.
But what was it, Stripe or whatever? Stopped.
But late last night he had a conversation with Stripe, and they're going to be working on that. So.
Okay, good.
Good on them.
Yeah, I thought that was, he brought up a good point in that post where he said X needs to have multiple ways to monetize. Like if you get debanked or whatever through Stripe. So.
Well, X is setting up a payment network. They've made that pretty clear.
Yeah.
I haven't been monetized on X since they required identification. It was fine for me to get paid all those months beforehand. So for those of you who think I get money from X, I don't get a dime because I refuse to give them my ID to do whatever they want with it. So.
Yeah. Well, more importantly, even or what they don't want with it, because they've been hacked more times than you can count.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I gotta go. Let's wrap up. Joe, thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you as always. Watcher, I couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much. Chat, you guys were holding it down as always. So thank you for showing up. If you haven't done it already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Let your friends know that we're doing good things over here on the CFC. We will be back on Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. So until then, you guys stay safe.